Yeah.
Is there sugar in this?
That's just, no, did you want any?
Oh, yeah.
Two.
Right, okay. We've just got a list of questions here that the people off the Global have asked. First of all, first question is from Tracy Higgins, who lives in Australia. She runs a Global. She's like one of the people who started it.
I've got a photograph.
Tracy?
Yeah, I don't know what she looks like.
She's lovely.
Yeah, she's
Really
nice.
lady.
She's had a bad couple of years. She had cancer and she recovered.
Did she?
Yeah, she's a battler.
Where does she live? Melbourne.
We're not sure.
Brisbane, is it?
Brisbane, I think, yeah.
Brisbane, yeah, maybe. Might be wrong, but her question is maybe a bit predictable, but it says, can you see yourselves playing in Australia in the foreseeable future?
For sure.
No.
Well, they only let you have 4 cigars when you go into Australia and 2 packs of cigarettes these days. So the smokers in the band were like, yeah, we will.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
That's brilliant. Yeah, she'll be really pleased. I think it's about 3 or 4 years, I think, since you were last there, so I think she saw you last time round anyway. But the next one she'd asked is what you're both reading at the moment.
That's interesting.
Oh, right, yeah.
I'm reading, let's see, the last book is Eleanor Freeman, and it's a new book about the ionification of the atmosphere. Eleanor Freeman.
Right.
Towards an ionized sky or something like this, it's called. Eleanor Freeman.
Right, good. What about you, Youth? What are you reading at the moment?
Just googling the guy's name. It's a bit of a weird name.
Let me get the book that Paul's reading.
But I've always got 3 or 4 books on the go. So,
And this is the book that Paul and myself have just finished. Paul's just reading it now.
Brilliant, thank you.
It's about peak oil.
what are the other books? I'm reading Wild Wisdom, Tupac Rinpoche, who's the Buddhist Rinpoche who brought Buddhism to the beats in America in the 50s.
Oh, right, yeah.
Corso, Ginsberg and all those guys. I'm reading this amazing book by a Turkish writer. Orhan Pamuk. And the book's called Istanbul. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in at some point, but it's his memoirs of growing up in Istanbul, which is incredible because it goes back to his ancestors that remembered when it was Greek and then it was taken over by the Turks.
Different cultures.
The history, a lot of Christians, a lot of Jewish community in Istanbul as well. Amazing melting pot. I've never been. I'd love to go, but his writing is very poetic, and it's almost like a travel log. Which I enjoy reading travel logs while I'm travelling. One of the best books I read ever actually on tour was this book called Worst Journeys, which is a collection of short stories by great writers of their worst journeys.
Yeah.
I had Humphrey Bogart when he was in the army in the Second World War and he was about to liberate Paris, and they were just coming in following the first wave. It was just carnage, mangled horses. And there was a really great section where he goes, he came across this abandoned car and there was this dead woman in a fox stole and a couple of SS officers, and they'd been shot, and he was shocked to see a woman out of uniform dead. It brought it back to him.
Anyway.
And then he saw this old woman chipping away at the dead bodies to get the gold out of the teeth. And the teeth would go into this sort of tin can a kid was holding. And he was like
Unbelievable,
really
yeah.
shocked.
Yeah.
And the kid was rattling this tin can of gold. And as he was leaving, he heard the old woman cackle and she was running over the rubble with the fox stole from the woman in the car. Brutality of war, amazing.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Go on.
The next question is from a guy from the States, I think, Carlos Garces, and he's asked why you don't play anything from Brighter Than a Thousand Suns live.
Oh.
Well, that's a kind of album in its own right that we'll have to address. You know what we do is we feel at any particular time we just do the numbers that we think resonate for us.
Yeah.
Looking at the period of time that we're all kind of living through at the moment, and so we will do some off that record. I've done quite a lot of it on the symphonic Killing Joke album, so because it's such a harmonic record, Brighter Than a Thousand Suns, and the thing is, we don't feel like melodic harmony at this stage.
No. It's not really melodic and harmonious times, is it really? That's the thing.
Just at this stage, but we will do something somewhere in the future.
Okay, right, the next one. This is from a guy called Royal Eddie Fitzwilliam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah? He's saying, what's your formula for being so creative on multiple projects and having the discipline to do so?
Not
both
being
do
not being
multiple
too
things.
comfortable. I think that's it. I don't think we're that comfortable. I mean,
We were actually talking about it this morning, and I was reminded in ancient Greece, you know, in Delphi, the #1 criteria for poetry and being creative it was to get intoxicated. But I think to be able to tap into that Orphic current, but visionary current, you've got to swing your anchor quite deep.
I mean,
and you've got to be inspired.
Yeah. I think the best way to write music is to forget about music.
In a way.
It'll make your life colourful,
Yeah.
And feed your soul with all the things that you want to do, and the music comes out.
Experiences and stuff
We
like
don't,
that,
to be honest, we don't analyse the music or think about it. We're going to do this or do that. We just get together, and whatever comes out of us is what you get.
But we're passionate about what we're into, and that's the inspiration in a way.
Yeah, that drives you along, doesn't it?
Yeah.
When you're passionate about things, yeah, absolutely.
What a good day.
This was one for you, I think, Youth. What's the most significant difference when playing bass with other projects compared to playing with Geordie? That's from a guy called Dave Nicholas.
Well, I thought you were going to say jazz. When I play with other people, they don't shout at me and call me a wanker so much as
Well, just having you with the tuning.
jazz has been the toughest, but possibly the most greatest teacher I've had. You know, he's a great conductor, great leader, great, provocateur, and pushes you beyond your
Takes you out of your comfort zone a lot.
Yeah. So, and I think, it's everyone's different. Every production I do is different. Everybody I work with is different. So every time is a different set of criteria, really. And you try and serve the song, really, not even the artist. It's all about the music and the song. So whatever the song demands, really.
Yeah.
Whereas with Killing Joke, it's a bit more defined in what we do.
Yeah.
You know, and we just have to plug in, and then it just goes bush. You know, and that's just the chemistry within us, I think.
Yeah.
We were even thinking about, doing. I've got this theory that even if we were just on acoustic instruments or, anything, ocarinas, it would still sound like Killing Joke.
Somebody actually asked, one of the questions was, how about a Killing Joke acoustic set at Space
Oh, we were
Mountain?
talking about it.
We're talking
We
about
were
it.
talking about the unplugs.
Yeah.
Playing in churches.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Amazing, yeah. Right, next question. Somebody's asked about, are you planning a new album? And would there be another tour on the back of the album release?
Of course it will, as long as we're still alive.
Yeah.
I think that's a foregone conclusion. You know, when we finish one, unless we're dead, we'll probably do another.
Yeah, definitely.
Eventually.
When we feel like it.
Here's a bit of history. This is from Rob Steele, yeah? Rob?
Okay, yeah.
He said, who came
This
up with
is a
that?
guy who's offering some help with you in New Zealand.
Oh yeah, the builder.
Yeah, he's,
Oh,
I'm
nice.
giving him a backstage pass, so I'll introduce you.
Nice.
Another
Yeah.
top bloke.
Yeah, Rob's asked, who came up with the wonderfully psychotic little musical box interlude on We Have Joy?
Oh, that was on Connie Plank's studio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't musical. It came off my OBX. I seem to remember. It was just one of the sounds that was on my OBX, and we put it there because it sounded like sick.
Yeah.
Basically.
Fitted perfect, didn't it, really? But it'd be great to hear that live again.
We have joy, that's we do that sometimes.
Yeah.
So here's another one from Mark Waugh. What's been your favourite gig of the tour so far?
There is no one.
No.
There's been multiple amazing gigs.
It's been like that for us, I think,
Yeah,
hasn't it,
it has,
really?
definitely.
You know, each
It's
one's
difficult
been...
to compare.
Yeah, they're all different, aren't they? But
there definitely been some phenomenal
Oh,
highlights.
I mean, Mexico City was out of this world.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking
Belgium,
cranky.
Paris, Berlin.
All of them, yeah,
Glasgow,
Paris, Berlin, all of
Manchester,
these, they all
Newcastle,
blend
Leeds.
into one.
Want the one where it was very quiet. There was one that was
Belgium.
like, you got there and because Paul said you could hear a pin drop.
Belgium had a very strict noise curfew, but it was a beautiful hall.
Yeah.
Amazing acoustic in there. And one of the biggest crowds we've done, you know.
You know, it's funny when I think of like the early days, because if we didn't get the response we wanted from a crowd, we'd fuck off after 20 minutes. We'd just like leave the stage. You
It's
know,
the age
so I
thing,
don't
isn't
like
it?
this.
Everybody's doing it.
yeah, that's it, yeah.
Got to stay with it. Next one.
This one again was for you, Heath. If Jazz turned to you one day before a gig and said he wanted you to sing one of the songs that night in its entirety, what would you choose? That was from Andy Bird.
I'd laugh. And that would never happen.
You could do psych.
I could do bits. I could
Yeah,
do
bits of it, yeah.
I could do bits. I could probably get away with change.
Yeah.
You see. But definitely Jazz is the front man of the band. And,
But no, we'll do that. Tell him we'll do that one day.
Yeah. Just leave you
You
there.
can
sing
choose
it.
the song and I'll have a day off.
we should do that in the studio where we all swap instruments.
That'd be entertaining, wouldn't it?
Can did that quite often.
There's another one here from Audrey Jackson, who's from Scotland. This one's for you, I think mainly you. How many albums on vinyl have you picked up on the tour? And
Wow.
she said, can you remember yet what part of Scotland your mum came from?
My mother's a Montniche, and they're from just outside of Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Weirdly, the Pattersons with one team, which Alex Patterson's clan,
Yeah.
his clan are from the next village.
Right.
But I don't have any living relatives on the Montniche side except for my mother and sister that I'm aware of. Yeah, I love having that connection. And then how many records?
A lot.
What's this record? This is Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, something like that. isn't it?
I must have bought
Over 100 or
over
so.
100.
Really?
Yeah.
Easy,
And I've actually listened to pretty much all of them.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've got a record player on the bus, we have it on the bus back in. That's been a lifesaver actually.
Kept you safe.
It has kept me sane, and it's just, you know, you can transform a really horrible, no window, windowless cell into a nice vibe.
Yeah, with some decent music.
Doesn't quite work the same with MP3 off the phone somehow, although
No,
that
that's
can
it.
help, but the record player really helps. Because also you're getting music that isn't online and isn't around. You know, a lot of the vinyl I get,
It's rare stuff, isn't it?
it's quite rare, and it's just hard to find. And so there's an exotic element to that, I think.
It's nice to listen to to things on vinyl. I think you just get that better sound on it. It's a more full sound and
I
organic
don't know
sound.
if it's
innit?
even better. It's just a nice. It's a tactile experience playing records.
Yeah, because you've got the sleeve and everything, haven't you, rather than just having a download. And
Yeah, and it's maybe there's a certain amount. See, I got a dance set at home in my bedroom, and when I put Bob Dylan on there, I think that's how people listened to Bob Dylan in the 60s. They didn't have big hi-fis then, didn't even have stereo, they just had a dance set.
Yeah,
everything was
little
listened
record
to on a dance set. The music is so contextual. Sometimes when you listen to it in the context it was created, it sounds better.
yeah,
Even though it's not as high fidelity.
yeah. I think back like when I was in my sort of early teens, listening to like Led Zeppelin and people like that, you know, on a tiny little record player. But that's how it sounded then, you know. And you listen to it now on an MP3, and it sounds completely different. It doesn't sound as good.
Yeah, it's true.
Doesn't sound as good, but
There is a certain amount of nostalgia, I suppose, that comes with that, but I don't know, it's just exotic, I think.
there's another one here from Limar Tevet. I think she's over in Europe, isn't she, somewhere? It seems that you're always, or most of the time, living fully in the moment and having enough mind and soul space to create and focus. Although you're involved in so many projects at the same time, most people stay preoccupied most of the time. In other words, what's your secret, she said. It's a bit of a
Well, we've got a
difficult
kind of a Renaissance approach to everything. I mean, youth likes his literature as much as I do, and poetry and different mediums to express yourself. Paul's a sculptor, you know.
It's just part of the sort of general commitment to being an artist, really.
Yeah.
It's not a sort of part-time job for us. We're and that for that, in that way, I mean that, you know, we immerse ourselves in literature, paintings, movies, art, culture all the time.
Yeah.
And you know that art doesn't let you down. You know.
There's always something new to find as well, isn't there?
Yeah, it's endless.
Yeah. So what? This is one that I thought about earlier on. I mean, obviously, 40 years. You know, you've had a lot of time, and it's been a massive amount of time as a band. But have you got a favourite moment in Killing Joke?
There's so many.
Those sort of favourite thing questions are not good questions, really, because
There's so much.
There's
it
so
changes
many-
all the
Yeah.
time.
You know,
and
Yeah.
every day we're looking for peak experiences.
we don't look back. Artists don't look back.
No, it's all in the future, isn't it?
Well, it's hopefully today.
There's so
tomorrow.
many amazing things that we've pulled off,
Yeah.
and places and things that we've shared. That I wouldn't know where to begin or
No.
to say one is any more than the other. I mean, there's so many. I could literally keep talking for 24 hours about how many there are. There's so many experiences.
I mean, in the Pyramid, you know, the Pandemonium sort of sessions in there, that must have been one hell of an experience.
It was an experience, yeah. And one that certainly stays with me, you know, looking at the function of the pyramids, and you know, we're told that the Great Pyramids are essentially a necropolis by, you know, the Orthodox narration of what their function was. But after being in there and experiencing Killing Joke in there, it's consciousness technology.
Yeah.
And so I think about that experience a lot. I think about when we played the Octagon in Reading, and everything, when we were playing, suddenly everything stood still. It's like we're underwater.
Wasn't that at the top right?
It was at Reading Octagon.
Right.
Yeah, in 1981, we had this experience of that we're playing, the place is going crazy, and then suddenly everything went silent for the whole band and everyone there, and it was like we were in slow motion.
Yeah, it was incredible.
And this happens when you're subject to like magnetic frequencies.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time thinking about what the fuck happened to us at that event, because it happened to all of us at the same time.
Yeah.
It was a very strange kind of experience. You know, when we when we increase magnetic frequency, something called conductivity discontinuity happens, where basically you increase the magnetic frequency and everything slows down to a crawl. And I think this is what happened to us. And so I've looked at the sort of the geomancy of where that place was, and asked many questions ever since then about why that happened. But you know, there's been many ritualistic experiences. You know, my girlfriend was hit twice by lightning in the same ritual and survived. I mean, there's been lots of interesting, bizarre moments. You know, when we did the Pandemonium album, for example, this famous scientist, he was kind of. We met him at the same time that we were recording Pandemonium in Auckland, and Bruce De Palma, was, and he created this free energy device called the N machine, and he was told basically, you've got to go to New Zealand now. No one gets a passport overnight, but he bloody did.
He got one.
He was told.
He's a genius. You know what his greatest discovery was? But what that came out?
Yeah, the wobble.
Yeah, what he worked out was an object that spins goes down faster than if it isn't. In theory, Galileo, anything falls the same thing, but if it's spinning, it goes down faster.
So we met Dr. Bruce De Palma, and he took us to another level. I mean, he knew Buzz Aldrin really well, and he introduced us to the whole disclosure UFO thing. And it was interesting to hear the mainstream scientists talk about these things. And that's
we had a mescaline party.
Yeah, we did a mescaline party.
He came in.
He's not with us now, but it was amazing. You know, he was told, get out of America.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your health won't be so good. If you know, free energy is not good. To discover a free energy device, you're going against the vested interests.
Yeah, they're not
absolutely.
And so there were interesting stories.
A lot of them took refuge in New Zealand, didn't they?
Yeah, that's where they farm people out who they don't want to be around anymore.
Yeah.
It's probably
Well, that was disaster in New Zealand, yeah?
They send them down there to stay out of the fucking way. You know.
It's great. New Zealand still won't let American nuclear ships in their waters.
Interesting.
That's right. They've stopped allowing foreigners buying property now.
A bit late, but it's pretty much owned by China.
China. China said Mandarin Chinese is the second biggest language in New Zealand.
What, you got any others?
It's a good thing.
I've got
New Zealand is so damn ugly, they need interbreeding.
A bit like where we live.
It is, yeah, a little bit. A couple of people just added them recently, so I'll just have a look at them and then. Here's one from Giles Sibold. Music has long been used as a means of communicating and delivering social commentary and to unify resistance and protest against the system. From John Coltrane to Bob Marley to the Specials to Killing Joke. What role do you think music should play, given the changes in how music is consumed, to respond to the schisms that extremist leaders are creating in society?
He's a great photographer, Giles, isn't he?
Giles Sibold, yeah.
Well, you know, when it comes to rock music, from my own perspective, the greatest rock music has got this is loud, angry, rebellious, and as you puts it, it's got a fuck off attitude. And that's it really, you know.
But you go anywhere in the world where there's real struggle, real, you know, people having to even, you know, freedom fighters and stuff battling for their liberation. There's always reggae music, there's always Bob Marley, and there's always punk rock. And so those musics have always facilitated social change. Part of the functionality of music is to facilitate social change in ways politics can't.
Well, you know, Killing Joke is a little bit like disaster capitalism, really, because the worse it gets, the bigger we get, in a funny way. It's like that. I mean, we're in a situation now where, 70% of people in United Kingdom and America, they're 2 paychecks away from homelessness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really like this now.
We're actually living under fascist state rule,
Yeah.
So what's encouraging is seeing, because of that, a lot more dissent from younger people, and a lot more people becoming more politically active. Nevertheless, the system's flawed, and we recognise that in many ways it doesn't matter who gets in.
No.
That
You'll get the
system.
There's
same.
a deep state that,
Yeah.
that functions whether it's left or
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And
They're
that's
puppets, aren't they? They just get.
something we hope we'll see the end of, and the beginning of a much fairer system in our lifetime, hopefully.
Yeah. Let's hope so.
Well, I'm happy to still be alive after the American tour. Considering the technology's there to switch someone's internal organs off. Well, it's good that A, I'm mad, and B, Killing Joke's not that big.
Oh, brilliant, thank you.
But yeah, I mean, it must obviously, a lot of really, really long tour you've been on. I mean, it's probably the longest tour that you've done, isn't it? This is it?
No,
No, no, much longer tours
Yeah.
than this, but for a while.
For a long time, yeah. And you're still here, you're still here.
It's hard on the body, I'll
Yeah,
tell you
I bet
something.
it is,
Right?
yeah.
We started in August and we'll be going flat out.
Emotionally, it takes us.
Oh,
Yeah, I bet
man.
it does, yeah.
And the worst thing is stopping.
Yeah.
You go fucking mad.
Yeah.
Your
Suddenly-
body wants to go on stage, but at the same time your body wants to crash because of the sustained pressure of being like a coiled spring for
Yeah.
months and months and months. You're like, because you can't relax before a gig. It's like bang
Yeah.
and bang, but it's like it's big shock on the body. Stopping is insane. The worst for me was when I was raising my children and I do like 11-month tours and then come back to the kids and stuff, like come back to this situation of domesticity, and it did my fucking head in. Just going back to it, it's 2 worlds. It's almost impossible to live a conventional family life and be an artist, I would say. I mean, unconventional is possible, but conventional, you can't. It's not going to work out.
So in a couple of weeks are you going back to New Zealand for a bit to sort of chill out? You were saying you're leaving Prague, are you?
Yeah, I'm going to stay on living out of a bag again. For me, I'm going to take the nomadic life again.
Yeah.
I don't intend to live anywhere, really.
Just
Keep
wherever.
going, and I'm going after New Zealand. I'll go to South America and just wander until it's Killing Joke duties.
Yeah. What about you, Youth? What's your plan straight after then? Are you going to be... Sure, you've got the-
I'm recording in Spain. I get a week in London, then recording in Spain for a month, a bit of London, and then more Spain.
You'll be getting the fire on in Spain.
Yeah. I've got a workshop and a DJ gig in Kampala, Uganda, and the same promoters are trying to get Killing Joke out there. So we're tentatively looking at maybe an African tour.
African
That'd be
tour
amazing.
and a tour of India.
That'd be amazing.
So I'm going into
amazing.
January to Kampala to do the workshop,
Yeah.
and
That'd be amazing.
and hopefully set the seeds for a tour. We're really into going to places we've not been to.
Yeah.
We really pushed to go to South America. It's taken us 10 years to get it together to do it, and we all really enjoyed it.
It looked like you had an absolute ball there. From the stuff we saw on YouTube.
So
and
we'd like
everything,
to play lots of
Yeah.
places like Iceland we've never been to.
No.
Tahiti. That's on the way to. I'll do Australia if they can fly. Put in Tahiti on the way.
Tracy will
and
probably pay for it to stay there.
But yeah, we're into doing things we've not done before.
Yeah.
That's a part of our sort of kudos, is to do things that people haven't done before or
break some barriers and break some boundaries and do different things. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Anyway, thanks. That's that's us, I think,
Great,
really.
well
But
done.
thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Much appreciated.